The scream cut through the concrete like a knife. It came from cell block D, the place everyone feared. The lights were off. The doors were locked. And inside that dark hallway, a man was dying while others watched. I was there. I was locked up with killers. I pressed my back against the cold wall, holding my breath. Blood slid across the floor, slow and shiny, reaching the tips of my boots. Someone laughed. Someone prayed. Someone whispered my name. Then the alarm stopped. That was the scariest part. No sirens. No guards. No help. Just us. I remember thinking, this is it. This is how people disappear in America's most brutal prison units. A shadow moved toward me, and a voice said, calm and soft, "You shouldn't have seen that." I didn't know who it was. I didn't know who was next. And that's when the doors began to open. 3 months earlier, I didn't even know Cell Block D existed. My name is Marcus Reed. I was 26 years old when I got sent to North River Correctional Facility. It was a huge prison made of gray stone and sharp wire. From the outside, it looked quiet. From the inside, it felt like a cage that never slept. I wasn't a killer. I was in for armed robbery. No one got hurt. But prison doesn't care about details. Once the gates close, everyone is the same color. Locked in, my first days were loud but not crazy. Men argued. Men stared. Men tried to act tough. I kept my head down. That was the rule. Then one morning, a guard read my name. Reed, pack your stuff. I asked why. He didn't answer. They walked me down a long hallway I had never seen before. The air got colder. The walls changed. Cameras were everywhere. Doors were thicker. No windows. A guard leaned close and said, "You're moving to a special unit." I said, "What kind of unit?" He looked straight ahead and said, "The kind where mistakes get you killed." That was my first warning. Cell Block D was called the Deep End. Everyone knew about it, but no one talked much. It was where the worst inmates lived. Men who had killed guards. Men who had killed other inmates. Men who smiled when they talked about it. I didn't belong there. Or so I thought. My cell was small and clean. Too clean. My cellmate wasn't there yet. That scared me more than anything. In prison, being alone means someone is coming. That night, I met my neighbor through the bars. His name was Thomas Gray. He had gray hair and tired eyes. He said, "Don't ask why you're here. You won't like the answer." I asked anyway. He shook his head. "They put people here for 3 reasons. You're dangerous. You're useful. Or you know something." I laughed a little. "I'm none of those." Thomas looked at me for a long time. "Then you're in the most danger of all." Days passed. I learned the rules fast. Don't look too long. Don't ask questions. Don't take favors. But Cell Block D had its own rules, and they were written in blood. There was a man named Victor Kane. Everyone feared him. He walked slow. He talked soft. And he controlled the unit without touching anyone. If Victor wanted someone hurt, it happened. Then there was Leo Brooks. Big, loud, angry. A known killer. He liked to scare new inmates for fun. And then there was me, the quiet one who didn't belong. One afternoon, during mealtime, Victor Kane sat across from me. That alone was a message. "You read?" he asked. I nodded. He slid a folded paper toward me. "Then you listen." I didn't touch it. He smiled. "Smart. Still won't save you." That night, Thomas whispered through the vent, "Stay away from Victor." I didn't go to him. I said, "He comes to people who matter," Thomas replied. That made my stomach hurt. A week later, a man named Caleb Owens was found dead in the shower. No cameras. No witnesses. The guard said it was a fall. Everyone else knew better. The prison got quieter after that. Too quiet. Then I got called to the office. A man in a suit was waiting. Not a guard. Not a warden. He said, "Marcus, we know you didn't belong in Cell Block D by accident." I said nothing. He leaned forward. "We need eyes in there. Ears, too." I felt cold. "You want me to spy?" He nodded. "You're already locked up with killers. Help us, and you might walk free one day." I wanted to say no, but prison doesn't care what you want. I went back to my cell knowing one thing for sure. If anyone found out, I wouldn't make it a trial. From that day on, I watched. I listened. I remembered names, looks, patterns. Victor Kane met with people at night. Leo Brooks got angry before every lockdown. And someone kept moving contraband through the vents. Then the beatings started. Quiet ones. Hidden ones. A man named Aaron Price stopped talking. Then he stopped walking. Then he stopped breathing. I wrote all down in my head. And then I made my first mistake. I warned Thomas. 2 days later, Thomas Gray was gone. No body. No report. His cell was empty. That night, someone slid a note under my door. It read, "Snitches drown in silence." I didn't sleep. The tension grew. Guards stayed away from cell block D longer than usual. Rumors spread fast. Someone big was coming. Or someone big was about to fall. Then came the lockdown. Full lockdown. No movement. No lights after midnight. That was the night everything broke. I heard footsteps. Soft ones. Too many. Then the scream. The one that opened this story. The hallway went dark. Doors clicked open one by one. Not all of them. Just enough. Men stepped out like shadows. I stayed frozen as blood reached my feet. Someone whispered my name again. And then a hand grabbed my collar and pulled me forward. The hand around my collar was strong. Too strong. I was pulled into the hallway before I could shout. The door slammed shut behind me, locking my cell like I had never existed there at all. The floor was cold and wet. Blood smeared under my palms as I tried to push back. "Easy, Marcus," a voice said. I knew that voice. Victor Kane. He stepped into the dim light. His face was calm, almost kind. Around him were 5 other men. One of them held a shank. Another wiped his hands on his pants like he had just finished eating. Behind them, a body lay twisted on the floor. I didn't know his name, but I knew he was alive 10 minutes ago. Now he wasn't breathing. "You did well," Victor said. "You watched. You listened." My mouth felt dry. I didn't say anything. He smiled. "You said enough." Before I could ask what he meant, alarms finally screamed to life. Red lights flashed. The men melted back into their cells like ghosts. Victor leaned close and whispered, "Welcome to the real prison." Guards rushed in seconds later. I was on the floor, hands behind my head, pretending to be just another scared inmate. The dead man was gone before morning. So were the questions. They put the unit back on normal movement, but nothing was normal anymore. Everyone knew something big had happened. No one talked. Even Leo Brooks stayed quiet, his eyes darting like an animal trapped in a corner. I was shaking inside. Victor Kane knew. That meant my time was running out. 2 days later, the man in the suit came back. Different room. Same cold smile. "You were supposed to report last week," he said. I told him about the murder, about Victor, about the note. He listened without blinking. Then he said, "Good. We're close." I stared at him. "Close to what?" "Taking the whole unit down," he replied. That scared me more than Victor ever could. Back in cell block D, things got worse. Food trays went missing. Men woke up bruised. Someone tried to hang himself and failed. The guards blamed stress. We blamed Victor. He had started testing people, giving small orders. "Stand there. Move this. Pass that note." If you said no, something bad happened later. I kept my head down. Too much attention was death. One afternoon, Leo Brooks blocked my path in the yard. "You think you're smart," he said. "I don't," I replied. He smiled wide. "Victor does." That night, Victor called me over. "You want to live?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Then you help me." I didn't answer fast enough. He leaned in. "There's a transfer coming. A man named Daniel Foster, former guard, turned inmate." My heart dropped. "A guard?" I asked. "He knows things," Victor said. "He talks too much." I understood. Victor wanted him dead. "I can't," I said. Victor's eyes hardened. "You already are." I went back to my cell feeling sick. If I helped, I was a killer. If I refused, I was dead. Daniel Foster arrived 3 days later. He looked broken, older than his years. His hands shook. He was put 2 cells away from me. That night, he whispered through the vent, "They're going to kill me." I didn't answer. The man in the suit wanted evidence. Victor wanted blood. I was stuck in the middle. The next morning, Daniel didn't show up for breakfast. The unit locked down again. I heard a struggle, a choke, a soft thud, then silence. Hours later, Daniel Foster was wheeled out on a stretcher, face covered. Official report: suicide. Everyone knew the truth. Victor Kane nodded at me as they passed. I hadn't touched Daniel, but I hadn't saved him either. That night, I threw up in my sink. The guilt ate at me. The fear grew bigger. I told the man in the suit everything. He sighed. "We're moving faster now." "How?" I asked. He said one word: extraction. That meant a riot, or a raid, or something violent enough to justify pulling me out. But before anything could happen, cell block D exploded. Leo Brooks snapped. During recreation, he attacked a guard, took his keys, opened 2 cells. Chaos followed. Fights broke out everywhere. Sirens screamed. Smoke filled the air. I was pushed to the ground, kicked, dragged. Someone screamed my name. Victor Kane stood above me, eyes cold. "You chose wrong," he said. He raised his hand. And then the lights went out. Total darkness. Gunshots echoed. Men screamed. I felt a sharp pain in my side and warm blood on my shirt. I collapsed, gasping. The last thing I saw before blacking out was Victor Kane walking away, untouched. And I knew if I woke up, cell block D would never be the same again. I woke up to the sound of machines beeping. Slow, steady, alive. For a moment, I thought I was dead. The pain came next, sharp and deep, spreading through my side like fire. I tried to move, but my body didn't listen. A voice said, "Don't try. You've been out for 2 days." I opened my eyes. White walls, bright lights, a hospital bed. A guard stood by the door. Another man sat near the window. He wore the same suit, the same cold smile. "You're lucky," the man in the suit said. "The blade missed your lung." I swallowed. "What happened?" He leaned forward. "The riot gave us cover. Cell Block D is shut down. Half the unit is in isolation. The other half is being moved." "What about Victor?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. That was my answer. "You're being transferred," he said. "Different prison. New name." I laughed weakly. "That's it." "For you," he said. "Yes." My chest felt heavy. "And the killers?" His smile faded. "Some cages are harder to lock than others." 2 hours later, they wheeled me out. I didn't get to say goodbye to anyone. Not that there was anyone left. The ride was quiet. I watched trees pass by through a small window. For the first time in months, I saw the sky without bars. But I didn't feel free. They put me in a smaller prison. Lower security. Fewer screams at night. The guards called me by a new name. They told me to forget the past. I tried. Weeks passed. My wound healed. My mind didn't. Every time a door slammed, I jumped. Every whisper sounded like a threat. I saw Victor Kane in my dreams, walking through smoke, untouched. One evening, a guard handed me a letter, no return address. Inside was a single sentence: "You can't lock the truth forever." My hand shook. The next day, news spread through the prison TVs. A special investigation. Corruption. Murders. Secret units. Cell Block D was named. So were the men who ran it. Victor Kane's face filled the screen. Captured during a transfer. Tried to fight. Didn't win. For the first time, I breathed easy. But relief didn't last. 2 nights later, during count, the lights flickered. Just once. That was all it took. A new inmate was brought into my unit. Tall, quiet, scar on his cheek. He looked at me, smiled, and whispered, "Marcus Reed." My blood ran cold. I wasn't done. Prison wasn't done with me, and the killers were never really locked away. That's where the story ends.